Castles and fortresses have always drawn the attention of people, becoming centers of mystical stories and legends. Their ancientness and grandeur create an aura of mystery which is enhanced by the gloomy atmosphere surrounding these architectural monuments. High walls, narrow corridors, dungeons and towers form the perfect space for the birth of mystical tales. Such structures, often built in the Middle Ages, were initially intended for protection against enemies, but over time became witnesses to numerous historical events that left their mark on their walls. The psychological aspect of castle legends is inextricably linked to how architecture conveys a sense of mystery and fear. Dark corridors and enclosed spaces evoke strong emotions in people, giving rise to fear of the unknown and a desire to unravel the secrets hidden behind thick walls. Historical tragedies that occurred in castles, such as executions, imprisonment, and wars, serve as the basis for many mystical tales. These events, often filled with sorrow and suffering, cannot fail to leave a mark on people's consciousness, and over time they turn into legends passed down from generation to generation. For example, many castles in Europe are associated with ghosts and spirits that are said to roam their corridors, reminding of tragic events that once occurred. It is said that this combination of stories of suffering and architectural features makes castles the ideal place for the birth of myths. Each stone, each crack in the wall seems imbued with history, enhancing the images associated with ghosts and supernatural phenomena. Castle legends often serve as a source of inspiration for writers and artists who use them to create works that reflect both human fears and hopes. For example, some researchers believe that it was in such places that the foundations of Gothic literature were laid, where mysticism and reality intertwine, creating a unique atmosphere. Castles, with their majestic architecture and dark histories, serve not only as physical fortresses but also as symbols of human fears and hopes. They remind us that despite the centuries that have passed, the memory of past tragedies continues to live in our consciousness. Many legends are associated with specific places where, it seems, every room can tell its own story. This underscores how important it is to consider the context in which such stories arise and how they reflect the social and cultural realities of their time. It is worth noting that castle legends are not just fantasies. They often contain a kernel of truth that grows into a myth over time. This phenomenon is observed in different cultures. Almost every country has its own castle stories that serve as a reminder of human fate, the struggle for survival, and ultimately, death. Such stories form a unique cultural heritage that continues to attract tourists and researchers eager to delve into this mysterious world. In the end, castles and fortresses with their rich history and gloomy atmosphere become a mirror, reflecting the fears and hopes of people living in the shadow of their magnificent walls. There are castles that have witnessed numerous stories throughout their multi-century history, and each of them adds its own touch to the overall palette of myths and legends. For example, in some castles, artifacts have been found that confirm certain events related to their history, emphasizing that the past never completely disappears and continues to influence our perception of reality. Castles surrounded by such legends become not only objects of tourist interest, but also important cultural monuments that preserve the memory of the people who once lived in them. Nezvizh Castle, located in Belarus, was built in the 16th century and is one of the main historical landmarks of the country. It was constructed at the order of the Radziwill family, a prominent clan that played a key role in the political life of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. Construction of the castle began in the 1520s, with the completion of the main works dated to the 1540s. The castle combines elements of Renaissance and Baroque, distinguished by its powerful walls and beautiful facades. Special attention should be paid to the chapels and halls, adorned with magnificent frescoes and antique furniture. The castle served not only as a residence, but also as a venue for important political meetings. Inside, one can find unique elements, such as the grand staircase, decorated with wood carvings and stucco, as well as a hall renowned for its acoustic properties. There is a legend about the ghost of Barbara Radziwill, also known as the Black Lady. She was the wife of Prince Nicholas Radziwill and, according to the legend, died under mysterious circumstances in 1551, which led to numerous rumours about her spirit wandering the castle corridors. It is said that her ghost appears in a black dress, adding to the castle's mystique and attracting tourists. There are testimonies of her appearances over the centuries, and many visitors claim to feel her presence, especially in certain halls. In the 1990s, the castle was restored and is now under state protection, opening its doors to tourists and researchers. Each year, thousands of people come here to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of history and mystery. Inside the castle, exhibitions are held dedicated to the history of the Radziwill family and the architectural features of the building. The castle's exterior is striking with its towers and fortress walls, built in the style characteristic of that time. The height of the main tower exceeds 20 meters, offering a magnificent view of the surroundings. Currently, Nesvizh Castle is included in the UNESCO World Heritage List, underscoring its significance for world culture. Throughout its history, the castle has undergone numerous conflicts and reconstructions. In the 17th century, it was attacked by Swedish troops, and in the 18th century, it witnessed the partitions of Poland. As a result of various historical events, the castle changed owners many times, which affected its architecture and interior decoration. In the early 20th century, the castle housed a museum with unique collections of art and historical artifacts. The restoration of the castle became an important part of Belarusian cultural policy, and today it hosts various cultural events, including concerts and theatrical performances. The interior rooms of the castle preserve the spirit of the era, including historical furniture and antiques collected over centuries. The castle has also become a popular venue for weddings and photo shoots, thanks to its picturesque architecture and beautiful landscapes around. In conclusion, Nesvizh Castle is not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a guardian of many stories connected with the lives of its owners, especially Barbara Radziwill, whose fate continues to captivate people's imagination. Golconda Fort, located in southern India, is one of the country's most significant historical landmarks. Founded in the 16th century, the fort became the center of the Golconda Sultanate, which lasted until the end of the 17th century. Specifically, from the 13th century, it served as the capital of the Kakatiya dynasty and later the Qutb Shah dynasty. The fort was built on a hill, providing protection from attacks. The walls of the fort reach a height of up to 40 meters and have a length of more than 7 kilometers. One of the most famous features of the fort is its acoustic system. If someone whispers at the main gates, it can be heard at the other end of the fort. Golconda is known not only for its architecture, but also for its wealth, which was connected to diamonds. In the 16th century, there was a famous diamond mine here, where diamonds like the Koh-i-Noor were mined. This diamond, weighing 131 carats, has a complex history and is considered cursed. Legend has it that whoever possesses the Koh-i-Noor will be pursued by evil. Historians link its curse to numerous tragic events that befell its owners. For example, in the 17th century, the diamond fell into the hands of Sultan Shah Jahan, who commissioned the construction of the Taj Mahal in memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal. However, after his death, his son Aurangzeb deprived his heirs of their inheritance and became the owner of the diamond. In the 18th century, the Koh-i-Noor was seized by the British, and its fate seemed to become even darker. 8 times it changed hands before ending up in the hands of Queen Victoria. In subsequent years, the diamond was exhibited in the Tower of London, where it can still be seen today. Interestingly, the Koh-i-Noor attracts attention not only for its beauty but also for its curse, which makes people ponder the cost of power and wealth. Golconda, as a significant historical centre, has preserved traces of its glorious past in its architecture and legends surrounding it. The fort was able to withstand many sieges, including the siege by the Mughal army in the 17th century, and only in the 18th century, after long battles, it was finally conquered. Today, Golconda attracts tourists from all over the world who want to see not only its magnificent walls, but also learn about the legends connected to diamonds and curses. This fort is a symbol of wealth, power, and tragedy, making it a unique object of study. It is interesting that during excavations on the territory of the fort, artifacts were found that confirm the existence of trade relations with other regions, such as Persia and even Europe. The fort was not only a military base but also a cultural center, where various festivals and holidays took place. Around the fort, there are several ancient temples and palaces that are also objects of cultural heritage. In the history of Golconda, there are also other interesting figures, such as Sultan Ibrahim Qutb Shah, who was known for his love of art and poetry. He built many mosques and gardens that have preserved their beauty to this day. The fort and its surroundings continue to be the subject of research for archaeologists and historians who are trying to understand how the culture and economy of the region developed. Each stone, each wall of this fort tells stories of glorious and tragic moments that shaped the history of India. Edinburgh Castle, situated on a rock of the same name, is not only a symbol of Scotland but also a place where some of the most significant events in the country's history took place. Its walls once housed Janet Douglas, a woman known for her tragic fate. Janet was the daughter of Sir John Douglas and was born in 1445. She married Sir James Stuart, a close relative of King James IV. In the early 16th century, when the royal power in Scotland was threatened, Janet found herself at the centre of political intrigues. In 1496, her husband was accused of treason against the king, which led to his execution. Although Janet had no direct involvement in the conspiracy, her life became a struggle for survival. In 1533, Janet was arrested and accused of witchcraft, a serious crime at the time. She was unable to prove her innocence at her trial and was sentenced to be burned at the stake. This brutal execution took place on Edinburgh Square, and her death became a symbol of the persecution of women in Scotland during that period. Edinburgh Castle, where she spent a significant part of her life, became a repository of her memory. Today, the castle houses exhibitions dedicated to her life as well as other historical figures connected to its history. Built in the 12th century, the castle's architecture reflects various styles from Romanesque to Gothic. Among its attractions is the Chapel of St. Mary, built in 1430, which served as the royal chapel. Each year, the castle attracts thousands of tourists who want to see not only its architecture, but also learn about its rich history. Inside the castle are the royal apartments, where the Scottish crown jewels are kept, including the Scottish crown, made in 1526. Edinburgh Castle has also been the site of many important events, including coronations and military actions. In the 16th century, its walls witnessed sieges during the Wars of the Three Kingdoms, when the castle changed hands multiple times. In 1553, the castle was captured by the Royalists, marking the beginning of a long period of defence. The 18th century brought great changes as the castle began to transform into a tourist attraction. Major restoration work was carried out during this time, and today the castle is one of the most visited historical sites in Scotland. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Edinburgh Castle became a symbol of Scottish identity, especially in the context of the independence movement. As part of this movement, many Scots began to re-evaluate their history and revive interest in figures like Janet Douglas, who became a symbol of the struggle of Scottish women for their rights. The castle became the site of various events related to cultural heritage, including festivals and exhibitions dedicated to Scottish culture. In the 20th century, Edinburgh Castle continued to attract attention as a place where history and modernity intersect. In 2006, a new exhibition dedicated to the life and death of Janet Douglas was opened in the castle, drawing a significant number of visitors. The exhibition includes artifacts related to her life and documents confirming her tragic fate. Edinburgh Castle continues to be an important symbol of Scottish history and culture, and its connection to Janet Douglas underscores the complexity and contradictions of the country's past. The castle is not just an architectural monument, but a living history that preserves the memory of people like Janet and events that shaped the history of Scotland. Olavinlinna is a medieval castle located in the city of Savonlinna in eastern Finland, built in the 15th century. The castle was constructed in 1445 by order of Swedish King Erik V to protect the southern borders of Sweden from Russian invasions. The castle walls are up to 3 meters thick, and the towers reach a height of around 20 meters. Olavinlinna was built from local granite, giving it an imposing and massive appearance. It became a significant strategic point and a place for appointing military and civilian authorities. However, the castle is not only associated with historical events. There is a legend about Lady Olavi, a ghost of a noblewoman who is said to reside in the castle walls. This story dates back to the 17th century, when a young aristocrat named Olavi lived in the castle. It is believed that she was abducted and killed, leaving behind a sorrowful legacy. It is said that Olavi's spirit appears in the castle when the sound of a guitar is heard, as well as in a cloud of fog. Visitors to the castle report strange sounds and a sense of something supernatural. This legend is actively used to attract tourists, and every year the castle hosts tours where stories about ghosts and spirits are told. Local residents believe that the ghost of Lady Olavi protects the castle from enemies and brings good luck to those who respect her. The castle also houses a museum dedicated to the history of the castle and the region, featuring artifacts discovered during archaeological excavations, as well as various exhibits related to the culture and lifestyle of the time. One of the most interesting artifacts is an old Swedish coin found near the castle, dating back to the beginning of the 18th century. Additionally, Olavinlinna is famous for the annual Olavinlinna Opera Festival, which has been held in its walls since 1960. This festival features both local and international performers, attracting visitors from around the world. The exterior of the castle has been well preserved and has become a symbol of the city of Savonlinna. The internal rooms, such as the halls and kitchens, have also retained their historical atmosphere thanks to the efforts of restorers. Restoration work was carried out in the 20th century when the castle was declared a national monument. Interestingly, there is also an old church built in the 17th century in Olavinlinna, which is used for weddings and other ceremonies. The castle serves not only as a tourist attraction, but also as the cultural centre of the region. Every year, thousands of tourists visit to enjoy the unique atmosphere and immerse themselves in the history of the Middle Ages. Olavinlinna has become an integral part of Finnish culture and history, preserving many secrets and mysteries. In recent years, various events such as night tournaments and historical reconstructions have been held here, allowing visitors to experience the spirit of the past. The ghost of Lady Olavi has become a symbol of the castle and the region, attracting both history enthusiasts and adventure seekers. Legends about ghosts and spirits always stir the imagination, and the story of Olavinlinna is no exception. The castle is a place where history, culture, and mythology intersect, creating a unique atmosphere for all who visit. It is important to note that Olavinlinna is not just an architectural monument, but a place where history is alive and its spirit can be felt in every stone and every corridor. Spiš Castle, located in Slovakia, is one of the most significant historical fortresses in Central Europe. Its construction began in the 11th century, and throughout the centuries, the castle played a key role in the political and military history of the region. The castle's height reaches 120 metres, and its territory covers more than 12 hectares. In the Middle Ages, Spiš Castle served as a residence for many Hungarian kings and became a crucial strategic point controlling trade routes between Western and Eastern Europe. In the 13th century, the castle was fortified, and its powerful walls witnessed numerous battles. In the 15th century, it became the property of the Zapolsky family, specifically Barbara Zapolska, known for her tragic fate. Barbara, born in 1481, was the daughter of a renowned Hungarian magnate. Her life was filled with suffering and misfortune. At 16, she married King Vladislav II of Hungary, but their marriage was unsuccessful. Vladislav, occupied with political intrigues, did not give his young wife the attention she deserved. She suffered from loneliness and misunderstanding, which led to her depression. In 1492, Barbara gave birth to a son, but soon after Vladislav died in battle, leaving her a widow and unsupported. During this period, Barbara faced numerous difficulties, including pressure from the nobility and the need to protect her son's rights to the throne. She tried to maintain control over the castle and its surroundings, but her efforts were met with resistance from other noble families. The castle became a symbol of her struggle for survival, but ultimately she lost her influence and was forced to leave Spiš Castle. After her departure, the castle gradually fell into disrepair, and its magnificent walls became witnesses to destruction. In the 16th century, serious destruction of the castle began due to constant wars and changes in the political situation in the region. Restoration began only in the 19th century, when Spiš Castle attracted the attention of historians and architects who sought to restore its former glory. In 1999, the castle was declared a national monument and became a tourist attraction. Today, Spiš Castle attracts many visitors, and its historical significance continues to evoke interest. Among the archaeological finds on the castle grounds are the remains of medieval buildings, household items, and weapons, which provide a better understanding of life during that time. Spiš Castle was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2000, highlighting its cultural value and historical significance for Slovakia and all of Europe. Carved into the rock, the castle seems to guard its secrets, and its magnificent towers continue to stand as sentinels of history. Peles Castle is one of the most renowned historical landmarks in Romania, located at the foot of the Carpathian Mountains in the picturesque valley of Peles, near the city of Sinaia. Built at the end of the 19th century, this castle served as the summer residence of the Romanian royal family, and its architecture combines elements of Renaissance, Gothic, and neoclassical styles. Construction began in 1877 under the direction of King Carol I, who wished to create a magnificent structure reflecting his status and ambitions. The castle was completed in 1930, and its interiors were adorned with luxurious materials such as marble, wood, and gold. Inside the castle, one can find over 150 rooms, each with a unique design and historical significance. The library, with over 10,000 books, many of which are rare editions, is particularly notable. Queen Marie of Romania, a symbol of elegance and refinement, made a significant contribution to the castle's decoration, adding numerous decorative elements and works of art. She also used the castle as a venue for meetings with political figures and cultural personalities of her time, making it the center of intellectual life in Romania. In 1922, Queen Marie organized an exhibition at the castle featuring works by prominent artists of the era, including Sigismund Mihalik and Ion Andreescu. Peles Castle also witnessed numerous historical events, including visits by foreign delegations and diplomatic negotiations. In 1941, the castle was nationalized, and its rich heritage was threatened. After World War II, the castle was used as a museum, opening to the public in 1969. Many original items, including furniture, paintings, and antiques, have been preserved, allowing visitors to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of past centuries. The castle is also famous for its beautiful Italian-style gardens, which include fountains, statues, and flower beds. Surrounding the castle are numerous hiking trails offering breathtaking views of the surrounding mountains and forests. In recent years, the castle has become a popular tourist destination, attracting thousands of visitors each year, which testifies to its historical and cultural significance. In 2022, the castle received more than 150,000 tourists, setting a record for this site. The castle has also become a venue for various cultural events, including music festivals and theatrical performances, contributing to the preservation of its historical heritage and the promotion of Romanian culture. Interest in the castle continues to grow each year, and it remains an important symbol of Romanian royal heritage. The castle has been listed as a historical monument in Romania and is protected by the state, ensuring its preservation for future generations. The tower in London, built in 1338 by order of William the Conqueror, has witnessed numerous historical events and dark chapters of English history. This fortress served not only as a royal residence but also as a prison where many famous prisoners were held, including Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VIII. Anne was executed in 1536, accused of treason, incest, and witchcraft, which was essentially a political maneuver to strengthen Henry's power. She was beheaded on a grassy hill near the tower, and her last words were prayers. It is known that before her execution she said, "I came here as a queen, but I die as an innocent." After her death, Henry VIII ordered her name to be removed from all records and mentions to avoid the gloomy atmosphere. Interestingly, a legend persists among the people that the spirit of Anne Boleyn wanders around the tower, adding to its eerie atmosphere. In addition, the tower is famous for its ravens, which guard the fortress. According to legend, if the ravens leave the tower, Britain itself will fall. Therefore, at least 6 ravens are kept there at all times. These birds are known by name, such as one called Jake. To keep them, they are fed specially prepared food, and they have their own keepers. The ravens have become an integral part of the tower's cult symbolism, attracting many tourists. Architectural features of the tower, including the White Tower built in Romanesque style, make it a unique object for studying medieval architecture. The White Tower, 30 meters high, was designed to demonstrate William's power and his rule over the conquered Britain. Inside, there are exhibitions dedicated to weapons and armor, including Henry VIII's armor. Interestingly, the tower once housed the royal regalia, including the crown, scepter, and orb, used during the coronation of English monarchs. In 1911, the tower was officially recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, confirming its historical and cultural value. Each year, millions of tourists visit the tower to touch history and see the place where such significant events took place. The most important facts about the tower, including its origin and role in history, make it not only a tourist attraction but also a significant symbol of English history and monarchy. Since its creation, the tower has endured numerous attacks and sieges, including the siege in 1496, when it became the target of Lancaster forces. The tower's gates, built in the Gothic style, are a notable example of military architecture of that time. Each gate was protected by drawbridges and massive locks, making the fortress almost impregnable. The tower was also used as a hospital and even as a place to store treasures, adding another layer to its complex history. In 1891, the tower became the home of the royal jewels, which are now on display for public viewing. These jewels include the famous St. Edward's crown, used during coronations, and many other magnificent items that represent not only artistic but also historical value. It is important to note that the tower is not only a repository of historical relics, but also a place where important trials and executions took place. Hundreds of people were executed on its territory, and each execution left its mark on history. The tower, like its ravens, holds many secrets and stories that continue to attract the attention of historians and tourists. Castle Caerphil, located in Wales, was built in the 13th century, and its history is filled with not only military feats but also romantic tragedies. The castle was constructed in 1241 by the order of the Earl of Gloucester, and its architecture is an outstanding example of medieval military engineering. The walls reach a height of 30 meters, and the massive towers create an impressive appearance that has been preserved to this day. However, the castle is most famous for the legend of the ghostly princess, who, according to the tale, died of unrequited love. This story dates back to the 14th century when a princess, whose name has been lost to history, fell in love with a young knight. However, their love was forbidden. Her father, the castle's owner, opposed the union and insisted on her marrying a powerful lord. The princess's heart could not bear the pain, and upon learning of her impending marriage, she threw herself from a cliff near the castle. Since then, her spirit, according to the legend, has been wandering the castle's corridors, calling out to her beloved. Local residents report that at night one can hear her mournful cries and see her shadow sliding along the castle walls. It is interesting that in the 18th century, Castle Caerphil became a popular tourist destination, and many visitors reported encounters with the ghostly princess. These accounts attracted the attention of paranormal researchers, and in 2006, a group of ghost hunters conducted an investigation at the castle. They used various methods, including infrared cameras and electromagnetic detectors, but found no evidence of supernatural forces. Nevertheless, the castle continues to draw tourists interested not only in its history, but also in its ghostly legends. Visitors can see restored interiors, including halls where grand feasts once took place. In 2015, the castle authorities conducted a restoration, during which fragments of ancient frescoes dating back to the 14th century were discovered. This discovery confirmed that the castle was indeed a significant cultural and political centre of its time. Additionally, Castle Caerphil's strategic location made it an important stronghold during conflicts between the English and Welsh. In 1366, during the Lloyd's Rebellion, the castle successfully defended its walls against Welsh forces, highlighting its military significance. Despite its harsh history, the castle attracts not only historians, but also lovers of the supernatural. Ghost legends in Europe are often associated with places where tragic events occurred, and Castle Caerphil is no exception. The restored interiors allow visitors to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of the Middle Ages, while permanent exhibitions tell the story of life in the castle throughout different historical periods. The castle also serves as a venue for cultural events such as festivals, concerts, and theatrical performances, making it an important centre for the local community. The ghostly princess serves not only as an object of interest, but also as a symbol of unrequited love, which, as they say, has continued to live on for centuries. Interestingly, similar ghost stories can be found in other British castles, such as Edinburgh Castle and Windsor Castle, where encounters with the ghosts of historical figures are also reported. Castle Caerphil, shrouded in romantic legends, continues to be a symbol not only of medieval architecture, but also of human passions that, like the castle walls, have endured the centuries. In 2018, the castle hosted a ghost festival, attracting many tourists eager to learn more about the legends surrounding this place. Castle Caerphil has become not only a historical monument, but also a cultural centre where history and legends intertwine with the present. Kilkenny Castle is located in County Kilkenny, Ireland, and is one of the best preserved medieval fortresses in the country. Its construction began in the 12th century, when the Norman conquest of Ireland necessitated the protection of new lands. The first mention of the castle dates back to 1193, when it was built on the site of a wooden fortress. In the 13th century, the castle was significantly rebuilt, and by the 14th century, it became the residence of the Berkeley family and later the Kildare family. Kilkenny Castle was a significant political and military centre throughout the centuries. It witnessed numerous important historical events, including sieges and battles, and hosted gatherings of local nobility. One of the most famous legends associated with the castle is the story of Dame Alice Keitler, who was accused of witchcraft in the 14th century. Alice, one of the first women in Ireland to be tried for witchcraft, was a wealthy widow and landowner. In 1339, she was accused of using magic to control her husbands, who died under mysterious circumstances. Her trial became a major event in local history and attracted attention throughout Ireland. On trial, Alice Keitler presented herself as a pious and respected woman, defending her rights by claiming that all accusations were motivated by envy and personal animosity. Despite strong evidence against her, she managed to avoid execution and fled to England. The story of Alice Keitler became a symbol of women's struggle against prejudice and injustice of her time. Kilkenny Castle is also known for its demon cat, which, according to local legends, is the spirit of one of the Kildare ancestors. It is said that the cat appears in the castle during times of misfortune and portends disaster. This legend is connected to broader beliefs in witchcraft and the supernatural that were prevalent in medieval Ireland. Locals believe that the cat appears to warn of danger, and its sighting is considered a bad omen. Surrounded by beautiful parks and gardens, the castle has become a popular tourist destination. Restored in the 19th century, it is now open to the public and attracts thousands of visitors each year. Inside the castle, original interiors and furnishings have been preserved, allowing visitors to glimpse the past and experience the atmosphere of medieval life. Kilkenny Castle is also the site of various cultural events and historical reenactments, making it a significant centre for preserving Irish heritage. A chapel built in the 12th century still stands, containing numerous ancient tombstones and relics from the Middle Ages. Kilkenny Castle is not only a historical landmark, but also a living testament to Ireland's rich and often dark history. Each visit to this place immerses one in the atmosphere of the past and reveals new chapters in the country's history. In the 12th century, the castle became an important strategic point controlling the path across the River Nore. The walls of the castle reach a height of 10 meters, making it an impressive fortress. Beneath the castle runs a system of underground tunnels used for secret movement and defense. These tunnels are part of a unique architectural system that includes various defensive structures such as arrow slits and ramparts. Kilkenny Castle has not only been a significant historical object, but also a symbol of the struggle for power and influence in Ireland. Fort Barnagar, located in the Indian state of Rajasthan, is considered one of the most mysterious and cursed places in the country. Built in the 16th century, the fort was founded by Raja Madhav Singh in 1563. Legend has it that the fort was the subject of a curse by a black magician named Singh, who fell in love with the beautiful princess Ratnavati, the daughter of the Raja. Singh possessed magical powers and used a spell to make Ratnavati fall in love with him. However, the princess, discovering his intentions, tricked him with her own magical potion, causing the black magician to perish. Before his death, Singh cursed the fort and its inhabitants to a fate of destruction. Since then, according to legend, no one can spend a night in the fort without experiencing inexplicable phenomena. The architecture of Barnagar is unique. Massive walls, ancient temples, and palaces with intricate stone carvings create a sense of former grandeur. Inside the fortress, there are ruins of around 200 buildings, including temples, palaces, and residential houses. 80 years ago, excavations were conducted here, which confirmed that the fort was abandoned in 1618 when its inhabitants, according to legend, perished due to the curse. Every year, Panagar attracts many tourists eager to learn about its mysterious history. Local residents strongly advise not to stay here overnight, and some even claim to have seen ghosts and heard strange sounds. In 1989, the Indian government officially declared Panagar a tourist zone with strict restrictions on overnight stays. Under the protection of the Archaeological Department, the fort attracts not only tourists but also researchers studying its architectural features and historical significance. 8 years ago, a group of archaeologists led by Dr. Ravi Kapoor conducted a detailed investigation of the ruins, during which artifacts dating back to the time of Madhav Singh were found, including coins and ceramics. These findings confirmed that Panagar was an important trading center of its time. The walls of Panagar reach a height of 30 meters, and the area of the fortress is approximately 37 hectares. The castle was built with military strategy in mind. Its location on the slopes of hills provided protection from enemies. The legend of Singh's curse and Ratnavati's love story has become the basis for numerous books and films, further fueling interest in this place. Interestingly, India has several other places known for their curses, such as the fort of Kunch and the village of Kuldhara, each with its own unique stories. However, Panagar stands out for its scale and mystical atmosphere. In recent years, there have been reports of tourists who, despite the prohibitions, stayed overnight in the fort. Some of them claim to have encountered paranormal phenomena, such as cold drafts, unexplained shadows, and sounds that cannot be explained. 80 years ago, when the fort was abandoned, its inhabitants left behind not only ruins but also many mysteries. Princess Ratnavati, despite her tragic fate, became a symbol of love and tragedy, while the curse of the Black Magician serves as a constant reminder that not all stories end happily. Panagar is not just a fort, it is a place where history and legend intertwine, creating a unique cultural heritage. 8 times a year, festivals are held here, during which local legends and traditions are remembered, attracting even more tourists. Each year in November, a light festival is held, symbolizing hope and remembrance of those who lived here. The fort has become not only a tourist attraction but also an object of study for historians and archaeologists seeking to understand the life and customs of its inhabitants. The curse of the Black Magician and the story of Princess Ratnavati's love continue to live in people's minds, making Panagar one of the most discussed and mysterious places in India. The Alcázar in Segovia is one of the most famous fortresses in Spain, located on a hill that offers a breathtaking view of the surrounding area. Construction of this castle began in the 10th century, and it served as both a royal residence and a military fortress. The Alcázar gained fame for its unique architectural style, which combines elements of Roman, Moorish, and Gothic styles. In the 12th century, the castle was fortified, and in the 13th century, during the reign of King Alfonso X the Wise, the Alcázar became a significant center of Christian power in the region. Alfonso X, known for his efforts in cultural and scientific development, made significant contributions to the strengthening and expansion of the Kingdom of Castile. The castle became a symbol of the power and authority of the Castilian kings, and it was here that important decisions regarding the future of the kingdom were made. In the 14th century, the Alcázar was rebuilt in the Gothic style, and in the 15th century, elements characteristic of the Renaissance period were added. It became one of the first fortresses to use firearms, which increased its strategic value. In the 16th century, the Alcázar served as a location for the coronation of Spanish monarchs and became a home for several royal families. The castle endured numerous sieges and restorations, but its grandeur remained unquestioned. In the 18th century, the Alcázar became a focus of attention for architects and historians, and it began to be considered a model of military architecture. In the 19th century, the fortress was severely damaged during the War of Independence, but thanks to the efforts of restorers, such as architect Ramon Mesonero, the castle was restored and once again began to attract tourists. The Alcázar in Segovia is also known for its magnificent interiors, which include halls with beautiful frescoes and tapestries that reflect the history of Spain. One of the halls houses a unique collection of weapons, numbering more than 300 pieces. One of the most famous parts of the Alcázar is its tower, which reaches a height of 32 meters. From this height, one can enjoy a stunning view of the city and its surroundings. The castle has also been the site of several film productions, including Seven Samurai, which has added to its popularity. The Alcázar in Segovia is not only an architectural monument, but also an important cultural center, where exhibitions and cultural events are held. In the 20th century, it was declared a historical monument, which contributed to its preservation for future generations. Tours of the Alcázar attract thousands of tourists annually, and this place continues to inspire awe with its history and architecture. Among the unique features of the fortress is its water supply system, which included underground reservoirs for storing water needed for prolonged sieges. The Alcázar in Segovia is not just a fortress, it is a living history that tells the story of Spain's past and its kings. In the 21st century, the castle continues to be an important part of Spain's cultural heritage, attracting the attention of researchers and tourists from around the world. Nevertheless, despite its splendor, the castle has also been a witness to numerous conflicts and tragedies related to the struggle for power in the region. For example, in the 14th century, the fortress was besieged by Moors, resulting in significant losses among its defenders. The Alcázar in Segovia is not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a symbol of struggle and survival in complex historical times. Currently, the castle is protected as a national monument and attracts the attention not only of historians, but also of tourists eager to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of medieval Spain. In the 18th century, the Alcázar was also the site of royal balls and celebrations, underscoring its status as a royal residence. The castle continues to be one of the most visited tourist attractions in Spain, with an annual influx of more than 100,000 visitors. The Alcázar in Segovia is not just a castle, it is a true encyclopedia of history, carved in stone, that continues to tell its past and future stories. Château de Chenonceau, situated in the picturesque valley of the Loire, has become a symbol of French Renaissance and a significant historical monument associated with the figure of Diane de Poitiers, the favorite of King Henry II. Built in the 16th century, the chateau was originally constructed on the site of an old fortress mentioned in documents from the year 1000. Its architecture is a remarkable blend of Gothic and Renaissance elements, making it unique among other castles in the region. In 1530, the chateau was acquired by Diane de Poitiers, who was significantly older than Henry II when their relationship began. Born in 1492, Diane was a renowned beauty of her time and wielded great power at court. Her relationship with the king, which started in 1532, was not only personal but also political, as Diane influenced many of Henry's decisions. She initiated the construction of a new wing of the chateau known as the Galleries, which became a highlight of Chenonceau's architecture and was completed in 1548. This wing houses a magnificent gallery overlooking the beautiful gardens designed by the chateau's gardener, Gabriel. The gardens of Chenonceau, created in the Italian style, became a model for imitation, featuring terraces, flower beds, and fountains. Every summer, the chateau hosted grand festivals and balls attended by aristocrats from all over France. Notably, after Henry II's death in 1559, Diane de Poitiers left the court, and the chateau passed to his wife, Catherine de Medici, who immediately began making changes to the interiors and gardens. Born in 1519, Catherine also made significant contributions to the development of Chenonceau, adding elements of mannerism and expanding the gardens. She created a famous orchard and vegetable garden used for both decoration and medicinal purposes. The chateau was also a witness to many historical events, including the religious wars in France. In 1583, a meeting between Catholic and Huguenot representatives took place here, underscoring its importance as a political centre. Chenonceau became not only a place of rest for the royal family, but also a stage for intrigue and manoeuvring, where the fates of many were decided. Surrounded by magnificent forests and water bodies, the chateau served not only for hunting, but also for creating a picturesque landscape. In 1911, the chateau was classified as a historical monument of France, ensuring its protection from destruction and attracting tourists from around the world. Today, Chenonceau is one of the most visited castles in France, with thousands of tourists coming to enjoy its beauty and history. The chateau continues to be a symbol of love, power, and beauty, and its history is deeply intertwined with the fate of Diane de Poitiers and the royal court. Chillon Castle, situated on the shores of Lake Geneva in Switzerland, is a remarkable example of medieval architecture and regional history. Built in the 12th century, the castle served as a strategic fortress controlling important trade routes between northern and southern Europe. Initially, it was the residence of local counts, but later came under the control of the Bernese Council in the 15th century. The castle has attracted the attention of many historians and writers, including the French poet and writer François Bonivard. His poem The Prisoner of Chillon, published in 1821, was inspired by real events involving Pierre de Bonivard, who was imprisoned here from 1302 to 1322. The castle consists of three main parts: the central fortress, residential quarters, and dungeons, where it is believed prisoners were held. One of the most famous features of the castle is the prisoner's cell, where chains and shackles are said to have held Pierre de Bonivard. The castle also preserves medieval frescoes and Gothic windows, giving it a unique historical appearance. The 8 towers of the castle, each with its own history, emphasize its strength and defensive capabilities. Chillon Castle has become not only a tourist attraction, but also a symbol of the struggle for freedom, making it an important element of Swiss cultural identity. Since the beginning of the 19th century, the castle has attracted thousands of tourists, and its popularity has grown since the publication of Bonivard's poem. In 1966, the first restoration was conducted, which helped preserve its architectural features and historical artifacts. Every summer, theatrical performances and cultural events are held in the castle, allowing the recreation of medieval life. The castle has also been used as a filming location for various movies, further drawing attention to this historic site. In 1999, Chillon Castle was included in the list of Swiss historical monuments, strengthening its protective status. The extensive collections of artifacts found in the castle include weapons, armor, and everyday items that tell the story of life in the Middle Ages. Chillon Castle is one of the most visited castles in Switzerland, and its architectural beauty and historical significance attract not only tourists, but also scholars from around the world. From the castle, one can enjoy a breathtaking view of Lake Geneva and the surrounding Alps, making it an ideal place to study both history and the natural beauty of the region. For example, in 1981, ceramic artifacts dating back to the 4th century BC were discovered on the castle grounds, indicating that the site was inhabited long before the castle was built. Annual exhibitions dedicated to Swiss history and medieval architecture provide a deeper understanding of the region's cultural heritage. Chillon Castle is more than just stone walls. It is a living history spanning centuries, and each stone here holds its secrets. In the 1990s, the castle became an object of study for architects and historians seeking to understand how such fortresses were built in the absence of advanced technologies. The restoration and maintenance of the castle require significant efforts, and it continues to be an important cultural heritage site that highlights the rich history of Switzerland and its people. Malbork Castle, located in Poland, is one of the most significant medieval fortresses in Europe and an outstanding example of Gothic architecture. It was built in the 13th century, starting in 1239 when the Teutonic Order, founded in the 12th century to protect Christian pilgrims in the Holy Land, decided to establish a powerful stronghold in Poland. The castle became the residence of the Grand Master of the Order, who governed extensive territories in Eastern Europe. Construction began at the order of Grand Master Heinrich von Plauen and continued for several decades. In 1248, the castle was officially declared the residence of the Grand Master. Malbork Castle consists of three main parts: the upper castle, the middle castle, and the lower castle, which are connected to each other and surrounded by powerful walls. The total length of these walls exceeds 1,000 meters, and their height reaches 7 meters. Built of red brick, these walls not only protected the castle, but also emphasized its grandeur and might. As the castle developed, it became the center of political and economic life in the region. In 1342, Malbork hosted important negotiations between the Teutonic Order and the Polish kingdom, further cementing its significance. Inside the castle, there were not only living quarters but also extensive agricultural and administrative spaces. The library housed over 10,000 manuscripts, including religious texts and legal treatises. The castle also served as a venue for nightly tournaments and other cultural events, attracting nobles from all over Europe. In the 15th century, after the Great War between Poland and the Teutonic Order, the castle became a symbol of the order's decline and its power in the region. In 1456, after the castle's surrender, it was handed over to Poland, marking a significant event for the entire country. Malbork Castle, now part of Polish history, underwent various changes and reconstructions over the centuries. In the 18th century, part of the walls was destroyed, but in the 19th century, active restoration began, continuing until the early 20th century. Today, the castle is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and attracts more than 1 million tourists annually. Its architectural features, such as massive towers and chapels, demonstrate the high level of medieval construction. The castle is also known for its dungeons and water supply system, which allowed the castle's inhabitants to survive even during sieges. For example, in 1396, during the castle's siege, the enemy was unable to capture it due to the well-designed water supply system that provided water for several months. One of the castle's most interesting features is its museum, which houses armor, weapons, and everyday items of the Teutonic Knights. These exhibits provide insight into the lives of the warriors who once inhabited this magnificent structure. The castle is also renowned for its historical reenactment festivals, which take place in the summer and draw participants and spectators from all over Europe. At these events, one can see knights in armor fighting each other, as well as workshops on medieval crafts. The castle remains an important cultural and historical center, actively contributing to the preservation of the Teutonic Order's heritage and Polish history. Its walls hold many secrets and stories related to the spirit of chivalry and the complex political intrigues of the time. Neuschwanstein Castle, located in Bavaria, Germany, was built on the orders of King Ludwig II of Bavaria, known as the Mad King. Construction began in the 18th year of the 19th century, and the castle became a symbol of romanticism and dreams of medieval grandeur. Ludwig II, inspired by the legend of the Swan Knight, adapted by Richard Wagner, wanted to create a perfect place for solitude and relaxation. The castle was designed as a retreat where the king could realize his artistic and cultural ambitions, away from political turmoil. The main works began in the 18th year, but the castle was never completed, as Ludwig II died in 1886 under mysterious circumstances. Neuschwanstein Castle is approximately 270 meters high and is situated on a cliff, giving it a majestic appearance. Its architecture combines elements of Romanesque and Gothic styles, as well as elements of Neo-Gothic, making it unique in its own right. Inside the castle are magnificent halls, including the Singers' Hall, dedicated to Wagner, and the Throne Hall, which, although unfinished, is impressive in its scale and decoration. The walls of the castle are adorned with frescoes illustrating German myths and legends, such as the Nibelungen sagas. Ludwig II was known for his eccentric views on life and art, often creating ideal conditions for his ideas using advanced technologies of the time, such as electric lighting, which was rare at that time. The castle became not only the king's personal sanctuary, but also a fortress for his fantasies and dreams. According to Ludwig's plan, Neuschwanstein was to be a pilgrimage site for music and art lovers, but after his death the castle opened its doors to the public, and since then it has become one of the most visited tourist attractions in Germany, welcoming more than 1 million tourists each year. The castle has inspired many artists, writers, and even filmmakers, including Walt Disney, who used it as a prototype for the castle in Sleeping Beauty. The construction of Neuschwanstein cost enormous sums, and it was partially funded from the state budget, which caused discontent among the population and criticism from contemporaries of Ludwig II. While some considered his project a sign of madness, others admired his ambition to create a perfect world reflected in the architecture. The castle also became a symbol of the romantic Bavarian landscape, surrounded by picturesque mountains and forests, adding to its attraction for tourists. Despite its incompleteness, Neuschwanstein remains one of the most famous landmarks in the world, its unique style and historical context making it a subject of study for architects and historians. Currently, the castle is under the protection and management of the Bavarian State Administration, which cares for its preservation and restoration. Each year, the castle attracts millions of people eager to learn more about its history and legends that continue to live in its walls. Neuschwanstein Castle has become part of Germany's cultural heritage, and its photographs are countless, making it one of the most photographed buildings in the world. This magnificent structure has become not only a symbol of Bavaria, but also an important part of European cultural identity. Český Krumlov Castle is located in the town of Český Krumlov in southern Bohemia on the Vltava River. Construction of the castle began in the 14th century when it was founded by the Rosenberg family, one of the most influential aristocratic families in Bohemia. Initially, the castle consisted of small fortifications, but over time it grew into a vast complex that includes not only residential buildings, but also magnificent gardens, a chapel, theatres, and even a fountain. In the 15th century, the castle was significantly expanded, and its architecture began to reflect Renaissance elements, giving it a unique charm and grandeur. Český Krumlov Castle is renowned for its unique architecture, which combines Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque styles. For example, one can see Gothic arches, Renaissance facades, and Baroque decorative elements within the castle. The most notable feature is the castle's inner courtyard, surrounded by high walls and towers, which serves not only for defense but also for hosting various events. In the 16th century, the castle became the residence of Peter Vogt Rosenberg, the last of the Rosenbergs, and it was during this time that the famous theatre, one of the oldest surviving theatres in Europe, was built, where performances still take place today. The legend of the White Lady, or Perchta of Rosenberg, adds a touch of mystery to the castle's history. According to local law, she was the wife of Peter Vogt, and after his death became a ghost that wanders the castle and its surroundings. Locals say that at night one can hear her wails and see her silhouette in the castle windows. This legend attracts many tourists and researchers eager to see the White Lady with their own eyes. Today, the castle is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and attracts more than 1 million visitors annually. Český Krumlov Castle not only impresses with its architecture, but is also rich in history, intertwining the fates of aristocrats and folk legends. For example, in the 17th century, the castle became a magnet for many artists and musicians, contributing to its cultural development. The castle's interior preserves numerous historical artifacts, including furniture, paintings, and weapon collections, allowing visitors to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of past centuries. 85% of the castle has been preserved in its original form, making it a unique example of medieval architecture. The castle has been used as a filming location for various movies and TV series, including Marie Antoinette by Sofia Coppola, which has also contributed to its popularity among the younger audience. Each year, cultural events such as music festivals and theatrical performances are held here, making the castle a vibrant centre of culture and art. Tourists can also enjoy strolls through the picturesque streets of Český Krumlov, which have preserved their medieval charm. The 18th century marked a period when the castle began to lose its role as a residence and started to resemble a museum, preserving military and cultural relics. Local residents actively participate in maintaining traditions associated with the castle, including celebrating various historical events and festivals, which give the town a special atmosphere. The castle has also become a site for scientific research related to the history of architecture and cultural heritage, as evidenced by the organization of conferences and exhibitions dedicated to its history. Spanning an area of more than 50,000 square meters, the castle is one of the largest castle complexes in Central Europe. Château de Chambord, situated in the picturesque valley of the Loire, has become a symbol of French Renaissance and a subject of intense interest for historians and tourists alike. Its construction began in 1440 at the command of King Francis I, who sought to create a magnificent hunting lodge for his royal pursuits. The castle covers an area of approximately 9,000 square meters and includes more than 300 rooms, 12 apartments, and 88 staircases, including the famous double spiral staircase, which was likely designed by Leonardo da Vinci. This staircase serves both a functional and architectural purpose, allowing people to ascend and descend without encountering one another. The castle's exterior is impressive, with its facades adorned by more than 300 sculptures and reliefs that reflect the grandeur of the Renaissance style. However, Chambord is not only known for its architectural beauty, but also for its eerie atmosphere associated with ghosts that are said to roam its halls. Legend has it that Count Chambord, Prince Henri, the last representative of the Bourbon dynasty, spent much time in this castle, and his spirit continues to guard the surrounding forests where he passionately hunted. The ghostly hunts, it is believed, are not only a reflection of his passion for hunting, but also his unbreakable bond with nature. Local storytellers claim that in autumn nights one can hear the sound of hunting horns and the barking of dogs, as well as see shadows darting through the trees. This phenomenon attracts many enthusiasts of the paranormal, and some of them claim to have seen the silhouettes of the Count and his entourage, who continue to hunt even after death. Inside the castle, there are rich collections of hunting trophies that remind one of the tumultuous history of hunting in these places. The castle served not only as a residence but also as a meeting place for the aristocracy, where important political issues were discussed and lavish festivals were held. In 1960, Chambord was recognized as a historical monument and became part of UNESCO's World Heritage. This recognition opened new horizons for research and restoration, which continue to this day. Archaeologists and historians study not only the castle itself, but also the surrounding lands where significant events of French history once took place. For example, in 1495, a famous battle between French and English troops was fought here, which adds even more historical significance to this place. Currently, Chambord attracts more than 1 million visitors a year, and many of them are interested not only in its magnificent architecture, but also in the myths and legends that surround this castle. As a result of the research conducted, it was established that the castle was built using local limestone, which was quarried from nearby quarries. This stone has a characteristic light shade that gives the castle a special glow against the backdrop of green forests and blue skies. The secrets of Chambord, including its ghosts and hunting legends, make it not only an object of historical research but also a living cultural phenomenon that continues to inspire artists, writers, and filmmakers. Every year, festivals dedicated to hunting, music, and art are held here, preserving a living connection with the traditions of the past. Château de Chambord continues to be not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a cultural heritage that is actively studied and preserved for future generations. Stirling Castle is one of the most famous historical fortresses in Scotland, located on a rocky hill in the city of Stirling, which played a key role in Scottish history from ancient times. Construction of the castle began in the 12th century, and it became a crucial strategic point during numerous conflicts between Scotland and England. In the 14th century, the castle served as a residence for kings such as Robert I Bruce and witnessed significant events, including the Battle of Bannockburn in 1316, where Scottish forces achieved a decisive victory over the English army. Stirling Castle is also known for its ghosts. One of the most famous ghosts is a soldier in pink who, according to reports, appears in different parts of the castle. He is often seen near the royal apartments, where he is said to guard the peace of the royal family. This ghost has been seen by many visitors, and his appearances are always accompanied by a slight chill in the air and a feeling of being watched. Research has shown that the soldier's appearances may be linked to tragic events that occurred in the castle, particularly during sieges. While the pink soldier has become famous, another ghost, a lady in green, is also of interest. She is often seen in the halls where royal balls were once held and is described as a beautiful woman in a green dress. Legend has it that she was the mistress of one of the Scottish lords, and her spirit remained in the castle after her tragic death. Some witnesses claim to have heard her soft voice calling from afar, as if she were calling for someone. Paranormal research groups have confirmed the presence of unusual phenomena in the castle, such as temperature changes and unexplained sounds. Archaeological excavations in the castle have also uncovered numerous artifacts from various periods, including coins, weapons, and personal items. These findings help to provide a more complete picture of life in the castle throughout different historical periods. Today, Stirling Castle is open to visitors, and many tourists come not only to admire its architecture and history, but also to possibly encounter the ghost of the soldier or the lady. There are even special tours dedicated to paranormal phenomena, where guides tell stories about the ghosts and strange occurrences that have taken place within the castle walls. In recent years, the castle has become the centre of historical reenactments, where events are staged to recreate the lives of Scottish warriors and kings. Stirling Castle continues to attract attention not only for its architectural beauty and historical significance, but also for the mysteries surrounding its ghosts. 8 centuries of history, numerous battles and legends have made it not only a significant strategic object, but also a place where the past intertwines with the present, creating a unique atmosphere. In the 21st century, the castle has become part of Scotland's cultural heritage, and more than 100,000 tourists visit it each year to learn more about its history and possibly encounter its ghosts. The castle has been inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, which confirms its importance and uniqueness. Dunluce Castle is located in the southwest of Ireland, in County Kerry, near the picturesque coastal town of Kenmare. Built in the 13th century, it has become one of the symbols of Irish history and architecture. Originally serving as a fortress to protect local lands from hostile invaders, the castle's walls are constructed from local sandstone, giving it a distinctive appearance and making it resistant to the passage of time. Situated 80 meters above sea level, it towers over the Atlantic Ocean, offering breathtaking views of the surrounding landscapes. Over the centuries, the castle has been home to many powerful lords, including the O'Sullivan clan, who ruled these lands for several generations. In the 16th century, the castle endured numerous sieges but remained unconquered. The most notable event in the castle's history is its siege in 1538, when Spanish forces attempted to storm it. The castle has witnessed many conflicts, including wars with the English and civil wars, which have added to its historical significance. Today, Dunluce is also known as the home of the mysterious spirit known as Banshee Maud. According to Irish folklore, Banshee Maud is a wailing spirit that foretells death. Legends say she appears at night, emitting chilling sounds that can be heard for miles. These cries, filled with sorrow and despair, are believed to be a warning of an impending death among the local residents. Some claim to have seen her in a white cloak billowing in the wind with long, tangled hair. The legend of Banshee Maud is linked to the castle's history, as she is said to have appeared after the tragic drowning of the daughter of one of the lords in the stormy waters of the ocean. Since then, her spirit has been imprinted on these lands, and many villagers tell stories of her appearances. In the 18th century, when the castle fell into disrepair, tales of Banshee Maud became even more popular, as local residents sought explanations for their misfortunes and tragedies. Over time, the castle has become a tourist attraction, with many visitors coming to admire its architecture and listen to stories about Banshee Maud. 80% of visitors claim to feel an unusual atmosphere near the castle, and many of them swear they have heard her wail as the sun sets on the horizon. Dunluce Castle has become not only an important historical monument, but also a symbol of Irish folklore that continues to live in the hearts and minds of people. The legends of Banshee Maud and her tragic fate remind us of how history and mythology intertwine in Irish culture, creating a unique tapestry of heritage that cannot be ignored. Moreover, the castle is located close to other historical sites, such as ancient burial mounds and stone circles, making it an ideal place for exploring local culture and history. In the vicinity of the castle, remnants of ancient settlements dating back to the Bronze Age have been found, confirming human presence on these lands for thousands of years. Dunluce Castle continues to stand as a testament to Ireland's complex and multi-layered history, and its connection to Banshee Maud adds to its mystique and charm. The castle attracts not only historians but also adventurers seeking to experience the atmosphere of antiquity and mystery. Interestingly, in recent years, research has been conducted to study the architectural style of the castle and its influence on the development of Irish fortress architecture. Researchers analyze how the castle's construction reflects the strategic needs of its time and how it adapted to changing conditions. Dunluce Castle has become not only a historical monument, but also a living witness to the changes that have occurred in Ireland over the centuries. Bran Castle, located in Romania, is often associated with the legend of Count Dracula, although it was never the home of Vlad Tepes, known as Vlad the Impaler. The castle was built in the 14th century, in 1338, as a border fortress to protect against foreign invasions. Architecturally, it is a blend of Gothic and Renaissance styles, attracting tourists with its tall towers and narrow windows, which give it a menacing appearance. Vlad Tepes, known as the Impaler or the Pitiless, was born in 1431 and became famous for his cruelty. He ruled Wallachia in various periods in the 15th century and used methods of torture, including impalement, to frighten his enemies and consolidate his power. Among his victims were not only enemies but also ordinary residents, making him a figure that evokes both horror and admiration. Bran Castle became a popular tourist destination thanks to Bram Stoker's novel Dracula, published in 1897, where it was described as the lair of a vampire. Despite this, historical facts show that Vlad Tepes had no direct connection to the castle. He preferred to reside in other fortresses such as Târgoviste and Sighișoara. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the castle was used as a summer residence for the royal family, but its connection to the vampire made it a cult place for tourists and horror enthusiasts. Every autumn, various events, including festivals dedicated to Dracula, are held here, attracting thousands of visitors. The castle not only attracts attention with its architecture, but also offers interesting exhibitions about Vlad Tepes's life and legends about Dracula. Today, visitors can see items that illustrate life in the Middle Ages, old weapons, armor, and even medical instruments used at the time. The castle also houses a collection of folk art and exhibits related to Romanian history. Bran Castle is located in a picturesque area surrounded by the Carpathian Mountains, which also adds to its appeal from a natural perspective. Its location at an altitude of around 900 meters above sea level gives the place a special charm. Each year, the castle welcomes more than 600,000 tourists, making it one of the most visited historical sites in Romania. This popularity, in turn, contributes to the development of the local economy and the preservation of the region's cultural heritage. It is important to note that the castle was recognized as a national cultural monument in 1991. In addition to its historical value, Bran Castle has become a symbol of Romanian identity and cultural heritage, as well as a subject of study for historians and tourists. Interestingly, in recent years, the castle has actively used modern technologies to attract a younger audience, including virtual tours and interactive exhibitions. Inside the castle, there are also cafes and shops where visitors can purchase souvenirs related to Dracula and Romanian culture. There are many myths and legends surrounding this place, and every year new stories about ghosts and supernatural beings emerge, adding to the historical object's appeal. Bran Castle is not just a tourist attraction, but a place where history, mythology, and culture intertwine into a single picture, attracting the attention of researchers and adventure enthusiasts. The castle has become a symbol of Romanian history and culture, as well as an important object for studying the influence of legends on the perception of historical figures. Architects and historians continue to study its structure and architectural features to understand how it was built and what technologies were used in the Middle Ages. Throughout the centuries, the castle has been the intersection of many people's fates, and each room hides its own secrets. Bran Castle, with its rich history and mystical atmosphere, continues to inspire and captivate people from all over the world. Windsor Castle is one of the most famous royal residences in England, and its history is closely linked to the reign of King Henry VIII, who lived from 1491 to 1547. Windsor became an integral part of the English monarchy, and Henry VIII made significant changes to its architecture and purpose. Initially built in 1088 by William the Conqueror as a fortified structure for defense against enemy attacks, the castle later evolved into a royal residence. Henry VIII, who ruled from 1509 to 1547, greatly expanded and rebuilt the castle to meet his ambitious plans and vision of power. Between 1518 and 1520, he initiated large-scale reconstruction work, including the construction of new living quarters and the improvement of defensive structures. This period also coincided with his break from the Catholic Church and the establishment of the Anglican Church, making Windsor Castle even more significant in the political and religious context. Henry VIII used the castle not only as a place of residence, but also as a base for royal events and hunting. Windsor became a venue for grand celebrations and balls, where high-ranking guests from across Europe gathered. The castle's interior was lavishly decorated, and many rooms, including St. George's Hall, became symbols of his power. Built in 1483, the hall served as a venue for coronations and other important ceremonies. Henry VIII was also known for his numerous marriages and scandals, and Windsor Castle witnessed many of his personal dramas. For example, it was here that he spent time with Anne Boleyn, one of his most famous wives, and it was in Windsor that he signed the documents confirming her execution in 1536. This event became one of the most tragic moments in the history of the English monarchy. Windsor also played a crucial role in the development of English statehood, hosting important parliamentary sessions. After Henry VIII's death in 1547, the castle continued to be a significant residence for his successors who made their own changes and additions. For instance, in the 1620s, King Charles I conducted extensive work to improve the courtyard and gardens, further enhancing the castle's status as a symbol of the monarchy. Windsor Castle has endured numerous historical events, including the Civil War in the 17th century, when it was captured by Republican forces, and the restoration of the monarchy in 1658. Windsor has also become a symbol of the resilience of the English crown, remaining an important part of British history to this day. Notably, the castle is the longest continuously inhabited castle in the world, with a length of over 200 meters and an area of more than 4 hectares. Inside the castle, there are over 1,000 rooms, including living quarters, service rooms, and church spaces. Each year, Windsor Castle attracts millions of tourists, and visiting it has become a must for anyone interested in the history of England. Castle Hunedoara, located in Romania, is one of the most impressive examples of medieval architecture in the country. Construction of the castle began in the 14th century, when it was built as a fortress to protect against Turkish invasions and attacks. Initially known as Castle Hunedoara, it was later renamed Castle Corvin in honor of the Corvin family, who owned it for several centuries. In the 15th century, the castle became the residence of Vlad III, better known as Vlad the Impaler, who is famous for his cruel rule and methods of fighting against enemies. Vlad the Impaler, also known as Vlad Dracula, was the Prince of Wallachia and is renowned for using methods of terror, such as impaling enemies on stake, to maintain fear and order. In the castle, among its dark corridors and gloomy dungeons, legends persist that it was here that Dracula held his enemies captive. One of the most famous places in the castle is the Deep Dungeon, where, according to legends, prisoners were held. The dungeon is about 10 meters high, and its walls are imbued with the history of fear and horror. Artifacts of ancient torture instruments, such as iron shackles and interrogation tools, have been found there. Surrounded by high walls and deep moats, the castle is not only an architectural monument, but also a place where reality and myth intersect. In the 16th century, the castle was significantly rebuilt, adding unique features of Gothic architecture. For example, the addition of tall spires and decorative elements on the facades made it even more impressive. In the 18th century, the castle was used as a prison, and its walls once again echoed with the sounds of suffering. Since Castle Hunedoara is one of the most visited tourist sites in Romania, research and archaeological excavations continue to this day. In the early 2000s, restoration work was carried out to preserve the historical heritage and attract tourists. The castle has become a venue for various cultural events and festivals, helping to maintain interest in its history. Today, Castle Hunedoara is under state protection and is included in the list of Romania's historical heritage. Each year, more than 100,000 tourists visit it, eager to experience the atmosphere in which Vlad Dracula lived. The castle not only attracts history enthusiasts, but also serves as an inspiration for many artists and writers. Inspired by the image of Dracula, Bram Stoker created his famous novel, which later became the basis for countless films and adaptations. Castle Hunedoara has become a symbol not only of Romanian national history, but also of international culture, associated with myths about vampires and terrifying legends. Castle Hunedoara, with its dark corridors and secret dungeons, continues to attract the interest of researchers, historians, and tourists eager to learn about its mysterious history. Research shows that the castle was built on the site of an earlier Roman fortification, adding another layer of historical significance. Inside the castle, one can see original decorative elements, such as frescoes and Gothic windows, preserved from the 16th century. The castle is also famous for its unique collection of furniture and artifacts from various eras, making it a true open-air museum. The height of the main tower of the castle is about 60 meters, giving it a commanding appearance from a distance. The castle has witnessed many historical events, including wars, dynastic conflicts and uprisings, making it a significant object for the study of Eastern European history. In the 18th century, the castle served as a place for the imprisonment of political prisoners, and its walls were witnesses to many tragic fates. Inside the castle, one can find a courtyard surrounded by high walls, where various ceremonies and festivals took place. Castle Hunedoara, with its rich history and architectural beauty, remains one of the main attractions of Romania. Warwick Castle is one of the most famous fortresses in England, located in the county of Warwickshire. Its history began in the 11th century when, in 1068, a Norman baron, Hugh d'Avranches, built a wooden fortress on a high hill, providing a strategic advantage. In the 12th century, the castle was rebuilt in stone, allowing it to withstand sieges and attacks. In the 14th century, the castle became the residence of the Greville family, who significantly expanded and adorned it. One of the most notable residents of the castle was Countess Fulford, known as the Lady in Grey. She was born in 1661 and married Henry Greville, who became the owner of the castle in 1688. The Countess was renowned for her strong personality and independent spirit, which was quite unusual for women at the time. In the 18th century, she became the subject of many legends and rumours about her ghost, which is said to wander the castle in a grey dress. Many visitors and employees of the castle claim to have seen her ghost, especially in the halls where she spent her time in life. In the 19th century, the castle underwent significant changes. In 1883, a large-scale restoration began, which restored its medieval appearance. The architect responsible for these works was Sir Walter Greville, who paid special attention to details including the restoration of the original frescoes and wooden panels. At this time, the castle became a popular tourist destination, attracting many visitors eager to see its history and architectural features. In the 20th century, Warwick Castle became the venue for various events, including historical reconstructions and art exhibitions. In 1988, an exhibition dedicated to medieval knights and their weapons was opened on the castle grounds, featuring over 100 exhibits, including armour and swords used in battles. The castle is also known for its beautiful gardens, which were landscaped in the 18th century. The gardens include an English garden, a French garden, and even a maze created for the entertainment of guests. Currently, Warwick Castle belongs to a foundation that is responsible for its preservation and development as a historical site. Each year, the castle is visited by more than 100,000 tourists who have the opportunity to learn about its rich history and architectural features. Warwick Castle has also become a popular venue for weddings and private events, providing additional income for its maintenance. Theatrical performances based on medieval traditions are held on its grounds, allowing visitors to immerse themselves in the atmosphere of the time. One of the most famous legends associated with Countess Fulford is that her ghost appears in the castle on nights of the full moon. This story has attracted the attention of paranormal researchers who have tried to find evidence of her existence. In 2003, a group of researchers conducted a night investigation of the castle using modern technologies to record possible phenomena. They recorded several unexplained sounds and phenomena that remain a mystery. Warwick Castle is not just a medieval fortress, it is a whole world filled with history, legends, and mysteries waiting to be discovered. The castle has become a symbol of English medievalism and continues to attract history and architecture enthusiasts from around the world. In 2000, the castle was included in the list of historical monuments, which provides it with additional protection and funding for the preservation of its unique heritage. Edinburgh Castle stands on a rock of the same name in the heart of Scotland's capital and is not only an architectural masterpiece, but also one of the most famous haunted places in Britain. The castle was founded in the 12th century and throughout its history served as a royal residence, a military fortress, and a prison. This fortress has endured numerous sieges and battles, and its walls could tell many a chilling tale. One of the most famous ghosts of the castle is the ghost of a boy playing the bagpipes who, according to legend, forever wanders its corridors. According to local residents, Glamis Castle, located in Scotland, is not only an architectural masterpiece but also a place shrouded in numerous myths and legends. Built in the 15th century, the castle originally belonged to the Stuart family and became famous for its Gothic style and picturesque surroundings. In the 18th century, the castle was expanded and renovated, adding to its grandeur. One of the most famous legends associated with Glamis is the story of the monster of Glamis, a hideous heir who, according to the tales, was born in the castle and hidden from outsiders. There are several versions of this legend. One of them suggests that the monster was the result of incest, which was considered a disgrace for aristocrats. As a result, he was kept in secret, and some claim that he was even locked away in the castle's dungeons. Rumours about the monster of Glamis began to spread in the 17th century and have since become the basis for numerous speculations and ghost stories. Some researchers, such as the Scottish historian Sir Walter Scott, described the castle as a place filled with ghosts and mysterious events. In the 19th century, when the castle became popular among tourists, interest in the monster increased, leading to the publication of books and articles exploring both the myths and the real history of the castle. For example, in 1917, the writer Elizabeth Gray published a novel based on the legend, which once again drew attention to the castle. Glamis also became the site of various cultural events, such as theatrical performances and exhibitions, further solidifying its reputation as a centre of Scottish folklore. Despite its gloomy reputation, Glamis Castle remains one of the most visited historical sites in Scotland, attracting tourists from around the world. Today the castle belongs to the Grey family, the Earls of Strathearn and Kinghorn, who continue to care for its heritage and maintain historical traditions. The castle covers approximately 32 acres and is surrounded by beautiful gardens that add to its charm. Inside the castle, visitors can see numerous antique items and works of art that reflect Scotland's rich history. The castle is also famous for its ghost legends, and some visitors claim to feel the presence of ghosts as they walk through its corridors. Glamis has become not only a symbol of Scottish heritage, but also an object of research interest for historians and cultural scholars who strive to unravel the mysteries surrounding this unique monument. Facts about the castle continue to attract the attention of scholars. For instance, recent archaeological excavations in its vicinity have revealed traces of ancient settlements, confirming that the area was inhabited long before the castle was built. Glamis Castle, rightfully, can be considered one of the most mysterious and interesting historical sites in Scotland, continuing to inspire researchers and tourists with its rich heritage and enigmatic legends. Hohensalzburg Castle, located on a hill above the city of Salzburg in Austria, is one of the best preserved medieval castles in Europe. Built in 1038, it became a significant defensive structure for the archbishops of Salzburg. The castle's height reaches approximately 150 meters, and its walls, up to 3 meters thick, provided protection against attacks. Inside the castle, there are numerous historical rooms, such as banquet halls and dungeons, which hold many secrets and stories. One of the most famous legends associated with Hohensalzburg is the ghost of a princess who died of a broken heart. According to the legend, the princess was in love with a young knight who unfortunately died in battle. Her heart could not bear the sorrow, and she passed away, leaving the castle in despair. Since then, it is said that her spirit wanders through the castle, especially on dark nights when the wind howls in the windows. The rumours of the princess's ghost attract tourists who hope to see her or hear her weeping. Research conducted in the 20th century showed that Hohensalzburg Castle indeed has its own aura of mystery. In the 2000s, cases of paranormal activity were recorded when visitors reported strange sounds and sensations. The castle has also become a venue for art exhibitions and cultural events, attracting not only history enthusiasts but also those interested in Austria's cultural life. In the 18th century, the castle was rebuilt in the Baroque style, which added to its splendor. The main courtyard with its arcades is particularly impressive, creating an atmosphere of coziness and grandeur. The Marionette Theatre, opened in 1991, has become popular among families with children, where puppet shows based on traditional Austrian fairy tales are performed. In the summer months, the castle attracts up to 100,000 tourists a year, many of whom climb to it along the old road winding along the hill. Hohensalzburg Castle is not only a historical landmark, but also a place where one can feel the spirit of antiquity by walking through its stone corridors. Every August, a festival dedicated to knightly tournaments takes place here, where reenactors in armor demonstrate battles, creating a medieval atmosphere. One of the most notable features of the castle is the giant clock on the tower, installed in 1446. It not only shows the time, but also serves as a symbol of the castle's eternity, having survived many historical epochs. Surrounding the castle are picturesque views of the Alps and the city of Salzburg, making it a popular spot for photographers and tourists eager to capture the beauty of these places. The castle also serves as a venue for weddings and corporate events, highlighting its uniqueness and appeal. Every stone here is imbued with history, and the ghost of the princess may be just a reminder that even in the most beautiful places, tragedies can be hidden. 8 years ago, the castle underwent a full restoration, which allowed it to restore its original appearance and make it accessible to all visitors. As a result of this work, an exhibition dedicated to the castle's history was also organized, where artifacts found in its walls are displayed. Among them are ancient coins dating back to the 15th century and ceramics that provide insight into the lives of the people who lived there. Hohensalzburg Castle remains not only a symbol of Salzburg, but also an important cultural heritage site of Austria. Glamis Castle, located in Scotland, is not only an architectural gem but also the centre of numerous legends and myths, among which the story of the Grey Lady stands out. Built in the 15th century, it became the ancestral seat of the Earls of Strathearn and Kinghorn. The castle's walls hold many secrets, including mysterious deaths and ghosts that are said to roam its corridors. The Grey Lady, or Lady Elizabeth Strathearn, is one of the most famous ghosts of the castle. She lived in the 16th century and, according to legend, was killed in the castle due to court intrigues. There are several versions of her tragic fate. According to one, she was killed by her own family to gain her fortune. Another version suggests that she was locked in one of the castle's rooms and died of starvation. In this castle, she became a ghost, appearing in a grey dress, which gave her the nickname. There are numerous accounts from people who claim to have seen her ghost, especially at night when the castle is shrouded in mist. For example, in 2001, a family spending the night in the castle reported strange noises and visions in their rooms. Historical research shows that Glamis Castle was a witness to many historical events, including meetings of Scottish aristocrats and even royal receptions. In the 17th century, the castle became famous for its lavish banquets, where representatives of high society gathered. One such meeting in the 16th century entered history as a significant event in the struggle for the Scottish throne. Architectural features of the castle, such as its massive towers and convenient inner courtyards, make it unique among other Scottish castles. The castle was reconstructed in the 18th century, but many of its original elements were preserved. For example, it features unique Gothic windows and stone staircases leading to magnificent halls where balls were held. Glamis Castle is also known for its extensive lands, which cover more than 600 hectares, including picturesque parks and forests where hunts were held. In the 20th century, the castle became a popular tourist attraction, drawing thousands of visitors each year. In 2015, over 100,000 tourists visited the castle, to see not only the castle itself, but also to learn about its ghosts and myths. Tours of the castle offer detailed accounts of its history, including legends about the Grey Lady, making it not only a historical monument but also a cultural attraction. One of the most fascinating legends is the story of how the Grey Lady supposedly predicted the fate of those who entered the castle, and her spirit is said to still appear to those who show interest in her history. In the past century, the castle has been the location for various film and television productions, further increasing its popularity. In 2006, a documentary series based on the legends of the Grey Lady was released, discussing her appearances and conducting research on ghosts. These facts and stories about Glamis attract both historians and lovers of the supernatural, eager to unravel the mysteries that surround this castle. Glamis is considered one of the most mysterious castles in Scotland, and its ghost legends continue to stir the imagination. In the 2000s, special events were held for Halloween, transforming the castle into a real centre of mystery and horror. The castle was included in the list of the most visited historical sites in Scotland, and its architectural features, such as its elaborate roofs and unique facades, make it a subject of study for architects and historians. In 2000, Glamis Castle was nominated for the best historical place to visit in Scotland, confirming its significance in the country's cultural heritage. 80 years ago, the Friends of Glamis Castle Association was established, which is dedicated to its preservation and promotion among tourists. Glamis Castle, thanks to its history, architecture and myths, remains an important symbol of Scottish culture and attracts the attention of both local residents and tourists from around the world. Himeji Castle is one of the most famous and well-preserved castles in Japan, located in Hyogo Prefecture. Built in the early 17th century, its construction began in 1601 under the leadership of the samurai Ieyasu Tokugawa. The castle became a symbol of Japanese architecture, with its pristine white walls and elegant roofs attracting numerous tourists and researchers. The history of the castle is filled not only with architectural achievements but also with tragic events. One of the most famous legends associated with the castle is the story of a girl named Oki. She was a maid in the house of the samurai Asano Nobunaga and became famous for her beauty and devotion. According to the legend, Oki once accidentally broke a valuable plate belonging to her master, which led to her tragic fate. In anger, the samurai, losing his sanity, threw Oki into the castle's well where she drowned. However, the story does not end there. It is said that the spirit of Oki still wanders the castle at night, making eerie noises, convinced that she was unjustly punished. This tradition of telling the story has been passed down from generation to generation, and Himeji Castle has become a place of pilgrimage for those interested in Japanese myths and legends. This story of love, devotion, and injustice is very typical of Japanese culture, where spirits and ghosts play a significant role in folklore. In 1938, Himeji Castle was declared a national treasure of Japan, and in 1952 it was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. The castle is an example of Japanese military architecture, with its walls reaching up to 30 meters in height and the castle complex covering more than 60,000 square meters. The castle consists of several levels, with its interior having numerous rooms where weapons and food supplies were stored. Architectural features of the castle include characteristic elements of Japanese architecture, such as curved roofs that provide protection from rain and snow. The castle is also surrounded by beautiful gardens that add a sense of tranquility to its powerful architecture. Each year, the castle attracts more than 1 million tourists who come not only to admire its architectural splendor, but also to hear the legends of ghosts and spirits associated with it. Various cultural events are held on the castle grounds, helping to preserve and popularize Japanese culture and history. The story of Oki and Himeji Castle serves as a reminder of the importance of traditions and legends that shape national identity. This legend serves as a reminder that every action can have serious consequences, and sometimes justice is on the side of those who suffer. Himeji Castle, with its legends and history, serves not only as a tourist attraction, but also as an important cultural center where the past and present, reality and myth intersect. Mont Saint-Michel is one of the most famous monasteries in the world, located on the island of the same name off the coast of Normandy, France. It was founded in the 8th century on the site where, according to legend, the Archangel Michael appeared to Bishop Aubert of Avranches, commanding him to build a church. The construction of the abbey began in 1606 and continued until the 13th century, when the main architectural elements, including the famous church built on the summit of the rock, were completed. The walls of the monastery rise more than 80 meters above sea level and surround it on 3 sides, creating an impressive sight, especially during high tide, when the island becomes almost completely isolated from the mainland. Each year, Mont Saint-Michel attracts more than 3 million visitors who come not only for its architectural beauty, but also to touch the history and immerse themselves in the spiritual atmosphere of the place. According to Catholic tradition, the Archangel Michael is considered the protector of souls and the leader of heavenly forces, making this place particularly significant for pilgrims. In the Middle Ages, thousands of people flocked here in search of healing and spiritual comfort. For example, in the 12th century, pilgrims came not only from France but also from England, Spain, and other European countries, hoping to witness miracles associated with the Archangel. Monks living on the island managed to create a unique atmosphere where prayers and pilgrimages intertwined with daily life. The abbey housed not only prayer halls but also workshops where monks produced necessary items for life, including wine and cheese. Additionally, the monastery held relics that also attracted pilgrims, such as the relics of Saint Aubert. The architecture of Mont Saint-Michel is a bright example of Gothic style, and its features became the basis for many other buildings in Europe. In particular, the magnificent arches and stained glass windows installed in the abbey in the 13th century continue to amaze visitors. Moreover, the unique system of tides and ebbs in this region creates a special atmosphere, as if nature itself wants to protect this sacred place. The height of the tide can reach more than 14 meters, making it one of the most noticeable in the world. Climbing to the top of the monastery requires effort, but it is worth it, as the views encompass kilometers of coastline and surrounding lands. Mont Saint-Michel has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1979, confirming its historical and cultural significance. In the 20th century, the island underwent a series of restoration works aimed at preserving its unique architecture and preventing erosion caused by tides. In the 21st century, Mont Saint-Michel continues to be an active place of pilgrimage and a cultural center, hosting various events dedicated to its rich history, including exhibitions and festivals. It is impossible to forget that this place has inspired many artists, writers, and photographers, from Claude Monet to Victor Hugo, who sought inspiration in its beauty and mystery. Mont Saint-Michel is not just a historical object, it is a living legend that continues to attract people from all over the world, eager to touch its spiritual heritage and feel the atmosphere imbued with history and mysticism. Each visit here becomes a journey into the past, where the Archangel Michael continues to be present in the hearts and minds of pilgrims and travelers. Windsor Castle, located in Berkshire County, is not just a royal residence, but one of the oldest and largest castles in the world. Its history spans over 900 years. Built in 1066 by order of William the Conqueror, who sought to strengthen his power in England after his conquest in 1066, the castle has served as a royal residence, fortress, and even a coronation site. Windsor became particularly famous during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, who ascended the throne in 1558 and ruled until 1603. She was the first woman to rule England independently and made Windsor her favourite place for relaxation and work. Windsor Castle symbolised the power and stability of the monarchy and became the centre of political life, especially during the Tudor period. Important meetings and negotiations took place here. In 1593, during Elizabeth's reign, the castle witnessed significant events such as preparations for the defeat of the Spanish Armada. The castle was rebuilt and expanded to meet the requirements of the time. Windsor became a symbol of English power, and the Queen used it to reinforce her status among her subjects. The interior, adorned with works of art by masters such as Rubens and Van Dyck, demonstrates the wealth and tastes of the royal family. Windsor Castle served not only as a residence but also as a cultural centre, where balls, banquets, and other important events took place. In 1683, after Elizabeth's death, King Charles I held a significant meeting here to discuss questions of war and peace. Windsor Castle played a crucial role in English history and the shaping of the image of the monarchy. In subsequent centuries, the castle continued to develop and adapt, including restoration work after the fire in 1992. Windsor remains a residence for many members of the royal family, including Queen Elizabeth II, who used it as one of her official residences. The castle is also famous for its gardens, which feature rare plants and flowers brought from around the world, making it attractive to tourists and researchers. Windsor Castle is protected by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site and attracts millions of tourists annually, eager to learn about its history and architecture. For example, in 2023, the castle welcomed over 1 million visitors, underscoring its popularity. Thus, Windsor Castle remains a living witness to English history, reflecting both the grandeur and complexities of the monarchy over the centuries. The castle has also become a part of British cultural life, as evidenced by numerous artistic works, films, and books dedicated to its history. The fortress, located in the Hungarian city of Budapest, is a unique historical monument that was built in the mid-19th century as part of a system of fortifications to protect against potential attacks. This fortress, with its massive walls and strategically important location on Geller Hill, was constructed on the orders of Austrian Emperor Franz Joseph I in 1850. Its primary purpose was to suppress any potential uprisings and demonstrate the power of the Austrian Empire. A significant figure in the history of the fortress was the Turkish Pasha Abdul, who governed the fortress during the Ottoman rule in the mid-17th century. His reign was marked not only by military actions but also by cultural life, in which his concubines played a significant role. It is said that Pasha Abdul had more than 30 concubines, each with her own duties and status. These women not only managed household affairs and raised children, but also influenced politics, as their opinions were considered by the Pasha when making decisions. In those times, harems were an integral part of the lives of high-ranking Ottoman officials, and each concubine could claim certain privileges and wealth. The fortress became not only a military object, but also a cultural centre, where various traditions and customs intertwined. In the heart of the fortress was a courtyard surrounded by high walls, where solemn events and festivals were held. In the 18th century, after the retreat of the Ottomans, the fortress was rebuilt and used as a prison and military garrison. During this time, harsh interrogations and tortures took place here. In 1913, after the fall of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the fortress lost its strategic significance, but its architectural value remained undeniable. The fortress was recognized as a cultural heritage site, and today attracts tourists from all over the world. From the heights of its walls, one can enjoy a breathtaking view of the Danube and Pest, making this place popular among photographers and history enthusiasts. Research shows that every summer numerous festivals dedicated to both Hungarian and Ottoman culture are held here, reflecting the multi-layered history of this place. Inside the fortress, one can find exhibitions not only about military history, but also about the daily life of people from different eras. In particular, one of the exhibitions features items used in the harem, including jewelry, dishes, and textiles. These artifacts help better understand the life of women at that time, their daily tasks, and their roles in society. One of the most interesting finds is an old manuscript from the 17th century containing recipes and advice on childcare, highlighting the importance of motherhood in the culture of the time. However, it should be noted that life in the harem was not easy, and women often faced competition with each other for the attention and favor of the pasha. The status of a concubine often depended on her ability to bear an heir, creating a tense atmosphere. From an architectural standpoint, the fortress is a bright example of Ottoman style, with Renaissance elements, making it unique in the European context. The fortress has preserved elements of old Turkish baths, which were used not only for relaxation but also for social gatherings. These baths were an important part of Ottoman culture and served as a place for communication and discussion of important matters. The interior decoration of the fortress, including mosaics and stone carvings, also reflects the multi-layered history of this place, where various cultures and traditions intertwine. The fortress is not just a historical monument, but a real time machine that transports us to the era of Ottoman rule in Europe. Corvin Castle is located in Romania in the city of Hunedoara. This fortress, also known as Hunyadi Castle, was built in the 15th century and is one of the largest and best-preserved castles in the country. The architecture of the castle combines elements of Gothic, Renaissance and Romanian styles, making it a unique object for study. The castle was built for John Hunyadi, who was not only a military leader but also the regent of Hungary. He played a significant role in the struggle against the Ottomans and actively participated in the political life of his time. The legend of the ravens is associated with the name of Hunyadi and his descendants. According to the legend, one of his ancestors saw ravens during a battle which foretold his victory. Since then, ravens have become the symbol of the Hunyadi family. However, not only victories are associated with this symbol, it is said that ravens also foretell disasters. In case of defeats and losses, ravens appear in the sky as an ominous sign. In the folk tradition, it is believed that the Hunyadi family is cursed due to their harsh deeds in the past. One of the most famous stories is the legend of Lord Vladislaus, who, according to rumors, was a cruel ruler. It is said that his soul was cursed, and he now wanders the castle in the form of a raven. Some researchers claim that this curse is connected to the fact that the Hunyadi family was involved in numerous bloody conflicts. During its existence, the castle has experienced many sieges, including in the 16th century when the Turks attempted to capture it. The castle was severely damaged but was soon restored. The restoration of the castle was a significant event, and in the early 17th century it once again became an important military object. The restoration also allowed for the creation of new legends about the castle, which were passed down from generation to generation. In the 18th century, the castle passed into the hands of Austrian authorities, which also affected its architecture and purpose. At this time, the castle was used as a prison, and many prisoners complained about the terrible conditions of detention. Legends about ghosts and curses became stronger, and many residents of nearby villages began to avoid the castle. In the 19th century, the castle again became the object of interest, and restoration work began. At the beginning of the 20th century, the castle was open to tourists, attracting many visitors who wanted to learn more about its history and legends. Today, Corvin Castle is one of the most popular tourist destinations in Romania, and thousands of people visit it every year. Various cultural events, exhibitions and festivals are held here, which help preserve the memory of its rich history. The castle has also become a filming location for movies and TV shows thanks to its magnificent architecture and mysterious atmosphere. Research shows that the castle was built using local limestone, which adds to its uniqueness. The walls of the castle reach a height of up to 30 meters, and its area is approximately 7,000 square meters. Inside the castle, one can find many historical artifacts, including old armor, weapons, and household items. Corvin Castle is not only an architectural heritage, but also an important part of Romanian culture that continues to inspire both local residents and tourists from around the world. Litomyšl Castle is one of the most famous architectural structures in the Czech Republic, located in southern Moravia near the city of Litomyšl. Built in the neo-Gothic style in the mid-19th century, it became part of a vast park and gardens that were included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2003. The castle was built for the Liechtenstein family, who owned these lands since the 13th century. Construction began in 1812 according to the design of architect Josef Fitzer and continued until the end of the 18th century. The castle is distinguished by its majestic towers and intricate cornices, while its interiors are striking for their rich decoration and antique furniture. However, beneath the beauty of this place lies a tragic history that has drawn the attention of many tourists and researchers. The legend of the drowned bride tells that in the 18th century on her wedding day, a woman named Elizabeth fell into the pond near the castle and drowned. Since then, many people claim to have seen her ghost wandering through the park and castle in a white wedding dress with a sad expression on her face. This story has been passed down through generations, and many tourists come to Litomyšl in the hope of seeing the ghost. On April 18, 2015, a group of researchers from the University of Brno in the Czech Republic conducted paranormal investigations in the castle using modern technology to search for evidence of the existence of ghosts. Researchers placed cameras and motion sensors in the most mystical parts of the castle and park, hoping to capture any unusual phenomena. The results were inconclusive, but some participants reported hearing strange sounds and feeling cold drafts in rooms where no one had been for a long time. It is worth noting that Litomyšl Castle is also famous for its extensive libraries and collections, which include over 100,000 books collected by the Liechtensteins over centuries. On September 18, 2019, an exhibition was held in the castle dedicated to the history of the Liechtenstein family and their connection to this place, further increasing interest in the castle. The legend of the drowned bride has become part of the cultural heritage of this region, and special tours are conducted in Litomyšl dedicated to paranormal phenomena. Guides tell about other ghosts that are said to inhabit the castle, including the spirit of an old caretaker who was found dead in one of the halls. On November 18, 2020, a special ghost night was organized in the castle, where participants could participate in the search for ghosts using special equipment. It is interesting that Litomyšl Castle is not the only place in the Czech Republic where ghost stories are told. For example, the castle of Hluboká nad Vltavou is also famous for its legends about ghosts, including the spirit of a woman accused of witchcraft. In this context, Litomyšl Castle represents not only an architectural masterpiece, but also a significant center of cultural and historical importance in the Czech Republic. Its unique architecture and rich history attract tourists from all over the world, while the legends of ghosts add mystery and romance to this place. Since its opening to the public in 1992, the castle has been visited by more than 3 million tourists, confirming its popularity as a tourist attraction. Litomyšl Castle has become an integral part of Czech cultural identity and continues to inspire people with its splendor and mysterious stories that surround it. Turku Castle, located in the southwest of Finland, is one of the oldest and most significant historical buildings in the country. Its construction began in the 13th century when it served as an important defensive structure. The castle became not only a fortress but also a residence for high-ranking individuals, including kings and queens. One of the most notable figures associated with this castle is Katarina Månsdotter, the third wife of King Gustav I Vasa. Born in 1483, she was the daughter of a Swedish nobleman, which granted her status and influence. In 1520, she married Gustav, who became King of Sweden in 1523. Their marriage was crucial for political stability, and the unification of Swedish lands after long wars and conflicts. Turku Castle became a significant place for their rule, as it was here that the king made important decisions and governed the country. Inside the castle, there are luxurious halls, such as the Knights' Hall, where banquets and official events were held. This hall is adorned with magnificent frescoes and antique furniture that reflect the wealth and power of the royal family. Katarina was not just the king's wife, she actively participated in state affairs, particularly in matters concerning women's rights. In 1526, she gave birth to her first son, who later became King of Sweden, further strengthening her influence. The castle witnessed many historical events, including sessions of the Swedish Parliament and diplomatic negotiations with neighbouring states. Katarina Månsdotter is also known for promoting cultural development by supporting artists and architects, which is reflected in the castle's interior. For many years, Turku was a centre of power, and its walls hold many secrets and stories about political intrigues, wars, and peace treaties. In the 16th century, the castle underwent significant renovations, with the addition of new Renaissance architectural elements, making it unique among Finnish fortresses. For example, new towers were built, which not only strengthened the defence, but also served to demonstrate the power of the royal authority. Turku also became an important trade centre, contributing to the economic development of the region. The 18th century presented new challenges for the castle, as it found itself at the centre of military conflicts between Sweden and Russia. In 1769, Turku was captured by Russian troops, temporarily changing its status. Nevertheless, the castle remained a symbol of Swedish royal power. In the 19th century, the castle lost its strategic importance, but its historical value only increased. In 1830, restoration of the castle began, which continued for several decades. As a result of these works, many historical elements, including unique frescoes and furniture, were restored, making the castle a popular tourist attraction. Today, Turku attracts thousands of tourists eager to learn more about Finnish history and culture. The castle also hosts various cultural events, exhibitions, and festivals, making it a living centre of historical memory. Katarina Månsdotter, as one of the most prominent figures in the castle's history, left a legacy that continues to attract the interest of historians and tourists. Turku Castle, preserving its historical features, continues to tell the story of how power, culture, and women's influence intersected over the centuries. The castle's internal rooms, including old kitchens and dungeons, provide insight into the lives of the time when royal families and their entourages resided there. The castle has also become a subject of study for historians researching Finnish history and its impact on contemporary society. The Alcázar of Toledo in Spain is not just an architectural marvel, but also a symbol of power and military might that has witnessed numerous historical events. Built during Roman times, the castle served as a strategic fortress and residence for various monarchs. In the Middle Ages, particularly in the 15th century, it became a significant base for the Castilian army. However, its greatest fame is associated with Emperor Charles V, who used the Alcázar as his residence in the 16th century. Charles V, who ruled from 1516 to 1538, was known for his ambition to expand Spain's territory and strengthen its positions in Europe. During this time, the castle became not only a symbol of imperial power, but also a place where crucial decisions were made, determining the fate of entire nations. It is interesting to note that it was here, in 1534, that Charles V issued a decree to create the Spanish Navy, which later led to the discovery of new maritime routes. The castle has been a witness to many historical events, including the siege during the Spanish Civil War in 1936, when its walls provided shelter for Republicans. Despite its robustness and strategic importance, the Alcázar did not escape damage. The siege caused significant destruction, and its restoration required considerable effort. Restoration began in 1940 and continued until 1950, when the castle was finally opened to the public as a museum. Today, the Alcazar attracts tourists not only with its history, but also with the legend of Charles III's ghostly army. It is said that the spirit of the emperor, along with his loyal soldiers, patrols the castle's corridors at night. According to the legend, on certain nights one can hear the sound of footsteps and the whispers of soldiers discussing military strategies. This story of the ghostly army draws the attention of both tourists and paranormal researchers. Remarkably, the castle has become not just a historical landmark, but a true cultural and tourist icon. Research shows that over 1 million people visit the Alcazar annually, making it one of the most popular historical sites in Spain. Its walls hold many secrets and mysteries, from medieval sieges to ghosts that could be either real or fictional. The architecture of the Alcazar is impressive. Its walls are up to 3 meters thick, winding staircases, and vast halls such as the Emperor's Hall, where important meetings were held, give an idea of the grandeur of this structure. The castle is also known for its galleries, where artifacts from various historical periods are exhibited, including Roman, Arab, and Christian elements. For example, one of the galleries displays ancient armor and weapons used during Charles V's reign. The Alcazar does not just tell the military history of Spain, but also the cultural exchanges that took place during that time. Initially built as a Roman fortress, the castle was later rebuilt under the influence of various cultures, including Arab and Christian. Its location is also significant. The castle stands atop a hill overlooking the city of Toledo, providing it with a strategic advantage and a stunning view of the surrounding lands. The topography of the region plays a role as well. The Alcazar is situated on a high hill, making it visible from afar and serving as a reminder of the power and authority that once resided within these walls. Today, the Alcazar is not only a historical monument, but also a venue for cultural events, exhibitions, and other activities, making it a lively and important center for contemporary Spaniards and tourists. The Alcazar of Toledo, with its rich history and legends, remains a significant symbol of Spanish history and culture.